Hey y'all, it's Trent Knox with the Trent Knox Show, Season 3, Episode 7. In this episode, I talk about romance and romantic relationships, and I cover a lot of awesome information about myself and what I view of the cultural standing of relationships as it pertains to these times. All right, well, to begin this podcast is brought to you by Anchor.fm. If you head on over to Anchor.fm/Trent Knox, you'll find this podcast at its first state where it comes to fruition. Obviously, you can go over to Twitch.tv/Trent Knox to watch the live broadcast of this podcast as I record it and talk with the chat. Okay, so Anchor.fm is your number one source for podcast distribution and listening needs. They are able to give a perfect platform to publish your podcast for free to most or all of the digital streaming platforms such as iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or not SoundCloud. Could be SoundCloud. Then any place that has an RSS feed, basically, and they actually enable you to monetize your podcast as well with sponsorships and subscription services. So, if you head on over there and you check it out, go to my page at Anchor.fm/Trent Knox. You can check out the subscription. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me continue making these episodes, and it will really help. And also sponsorships, of course, for Anchor, different sponsors that they work for. They do pre-roll and post-roll, advertisements. Also, another sponsor is obviously Postmates. They've got a great opportunity right now if you're looking to earn if you're looking for a full-time gig, a part-time gig, a contract gig, whatever gig you're looking for, Postmates is a great opportunity. Head on over to my Facebook page, facebook.com/TrentKnoxTV, and pinned at the top is the information for becoming a driver, becoming a Postmates fleet driver. And as a Postmates fleet driver for a limited time only, if you do 55 deliveries in the first 30 days, you'll get a guaranteed $600 guaranteed payment, and then there's a $150 bonus for completing that too as well. So you get that $600 guaranteed just for the deliveries, and then that bonus is some on the side. Anyway, so Postmates and Anchor. Also, if you want to go over and check this out, I'm about to get it ramped up. It's my Depop page, and I'll give you the information right here. Give me 1 second to get it loaded up. Okay, if you head on over to I gotta go over to Instagram first, and then I want to change my profiles to my Trent Knox Vintage profile, then go over here. If you head over to www.D as in Delta, E as in Echo, P as in Paul, O as in Oscar, P as in Paul.com/Trent Knox Vintage, V as in Victor, I as in Indigo, N as in November, T as in Tango, A as in Alpha, G as in Golf, and E as in Echo, Trent Knox Vintage. You'll be able to check out my vintage clothing selection. So this is kind of like clothes that I find, either at a secondhand store or at the Goodwill or somewhere, a garage sales or whatever, and I pick it up because it looks like something that is something I would wear. And I've worn some of these things from time to time, but they're primarily, as Biggie says, don't get high off your own supply. So these are kind of clothes that I find that are unique and would really stand out to someone. And so they're over there, they're not that expensive. Obviously, they're secondhand. So it's going over there and check it out. Depop.com/Trent Knox Vintage. And that's pretty much it. I think I have one more sponsor for this. Shout out Twitch.tv/Trent Knox, obviously. And Facebook is Facebook.com/Trent Knox TV. Instagram Instagram.com/TrentKnoxTV, or at Real Trent Knox is another handle I have. You can go out and check out my LinkedIn / I think user or something like that. LinkedIn /n/Trent Knox. You'll find me there. And Twitter, I pretty much use my personal Twitter, twitter.com/Trent Knox. And then last sponsor, I use Coinbase, I use Beanstalks, that is pretty much it. That's it for the sponsors. Okay. Let's get into this episode. So like I said, this episode's about relationships, and primarily romantic relationships. And I want to get into my romantic relationships first. I won't mention any names, but I'll kind of go over where my romance started and how I got interested in getting into like these little, flirting, not so much girlfriend, boyfriend situations, but mostly the like girlfriend, boyfriend type stuff. You know what I mean? Give me a second real quick. What am I doing here? I just messed that up. We're getting it, and we're getting it. Okay, back to normal. Had a little bit of an echo there. Sorry. So romantic relationships. So when I was in like kindergarten, I knew I was interested in females and girls. I grew up, in a situation where, I was, around all women. My mother, my grandmother, my aunt, they were the ones who raised me from 1 to 5. They pretty much raised me my whole entire life, to be honest. So I always loved women. Like that's the thing. Like I was always surrounded by women, but I it was a love-hate relationship because, they definitely didn't do things the same way I did, you know what I mean? And they were, the things because I was a boy and whatnot, it was, I don't do this, I didn't fit the puzzle, right? Fit into the puzzle, especially being around 3 strong women who were at wits with each other anyway. So anyway, that's pretty much my relationships as far as it goes with my family and women. It's from 1 to 5. So then I get to go to Montessori. Then I go to kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. Okay, through my elementary years, I had little tiny like not, I don't want to call them fake, but they're not they're not like real conversation romances, but holding hands, kissing on the cheek, that type of thing, cute little kid stuff. I had one girl that I was, very close to when I was in kindergarten, when I was living in Nevada, and going to school in California. And, it was almost like, I don't know, I still think about that girl sometimes today. Don't remember her name, but, when I was in kindergarten and 1st grade, kissing and hugging and being real close to that girl and whatnot, and, her hanging out with her family and whatnot. And then I got into 1st, 2nd grade, and 3rd grade. And in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade, I can't really recall until 3rd grade ever having like a real, crush on any girls or any type of romantic feeling towards a girl. And, I was always the suave, casual kid from even then. I was, laid back, don't do too much, let the girl come to you kind of attitude. And if you needed to go a little bit an extra mile, it was always something that it wasn't that cute. You know what I mean? Sometimes that would be viewed as kind of negative. It wasn't always a positive thing to be, going and chasing after girls, because if you were doing that as a little kid, you get disciplined, and you weren't, there were families that were anti, intermixing with boy girl. They were always like no purple, that type of mentality with things. And for me, that turned me off a lot. And so in third grade, I had this crush on these two Hispanic girls because they were in my music class, and they know who they are. And it was fun. It was fun chasing after them, and then chatting it up with them and being fun with them. But that actually was the start of all of the discipline that I got into, because I think I pissed off a kid, and this is going into the interpersonal communication and acquaintance category of relationships. But I made this kid mad, and I told him he was like, I was messing with him and joking around that he was farting in class, and he got really angry about that, and decided to stab his fingers into my eyes. And so I was doing a form of martial arts at that time, and I grabbed him by the throat, and I pressed into his thorax, and choked him as he was stabbing into my eyeballs. And I got disciplined, and I wasn't able to go to the SeaWorld trip. And that's probably where it all started, where things began to snowball between my relationships with acquaintances and friends of the male gender, and my relationships with the females in my life, because I'd never really ever done anything wrong in my entire life until then, and I was disciplined for self-defense, because it's one thing to get upset and tattled that you were being picked on, or that you were being bullied, or that plus this kid was a dick, and he deserved to be people to talk shit about him. Anyway, and so what happened was that in self-defense of his physical attack, I got punished for it, and I was this repeats itself, it seems, in my life. So I get in trouble for that, and that's when it kind of split up. And then so 4th grade, 5th grade, we get into those later years of my elementary, and I have a crush on this girl that grew up in my neighborhood, which I didn't really know that until later on, when I was in middle school and whatnot. And she lived down the block from my house. Anyway, but so I had a crush on that girl. I actually bought her on a Valentine's Day a cheap little ring and whatnot from Walmart, and I gave it to her on Valentine's Day as a gift. And then it was the joke of the class, because I was being sweet and whatnot, and it turned out to be I don't know, not so good. It was it was one of those promise rings or whatever, but it didn't work out. Was cute, but I don't even know why my mom let me do that. And so, anyway, I'll continue the story and we'll get to it. Because when I was growing up, and this reminds me of something I need to do. When I was growing up, whenever you went to when Valentine's Day was in school, everybody bought these little cards and heart hard candy hearts and whatever, and chocolates, and you take it to class and you'd hand it out during Valentine's Day. It's telling how much you respected, and you had it wasn't like I love you or anything like that, but it was like respect. It was like happy to be friends type thing. Shared these little Valentine's cards with everybody. Anyway, moving forward. So yeah, this girl, she did not like me whatsoever. Or at least she never like showed it or anything. She was being just kind of being rude. But anyway, so oh my gosh, this is not the first time I did this. So going forward, I go into middle school, and in middle school, when I was like, I don't know, 6th grade, 7th grade, whatnot. 6th grade, I don't really remember. Okay, so 6th grade, since I was taken out of public school and I was put into private school over in a private school out here in Texas. Zion Lutheran, if you look it up, it's out there, Wahlberg area. I didn't really get along with the kids out there that much. There were a couple of girls that were, they were cute for sure, very, very cute. I didn't really get along with the guys. The guys, they were being punks and very disrespectful, like little kids. And it very much makes me very sad that these kids were bullies to me. There's a big kid that was super bully to me, and I was a little kid. I was short, unathletic, a little bit chubby, and I didn't really have many skills. I played flag football while I was there. There was a girl there though that I was, I had some feelings towards her. Her name was Georgia, which is ironic because it's just like the state. Yeah, but she was cute and not taller than me, which is cool to me. Like, oh gosh, yeah, somebody not my size. And anyway, so but she was interested in other boys. Anyway, so then I transfer out of that private school, the Zion Lutheran, back to a public school because I was just like socially not doing well on both ends at the Zion. It was too small. There was there wasn't enough kids to like find your niche inside of that school. So I had one good friend there, and had another couple goofy friends that I hung out with, and we played silly games, and we thought we were like next level comedians or something. That was hilarious. That's a throwback right there. Throwback memory. So go back to public school. 6th grade, I meet different girls. There's a lot of girls. 6th, 7th grade, there are a lot of girls, because all these elementary schools from public schools go together, and all of a sudden you have this plethora of new girls to meet and get introduced to and whatnot. And so it, there's just too many. There's too many to name, but there are some highlights when I was going to the elementary school out here. The middle school. My freshman, what the hell is that called? What is that called? 6th grade, whatever that's called. Year in high school, or in high school. in middle school was my crush in 6th grade. Jeez. Wait, I didn't go to 6th grade there. So yeah, so 6th grade at the private school. 7th grade, I guess I didn't spend that much time in public. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So there's a lot that goes on here. So 7th grade, I'm at the middle school in Texas. Then I move to Colorado because I'm not doing well at this school here in Texas, and actually I'm doing well, but I'm not doing well in two different ways. Like I was starting to act up and be wild, and so I went to go live with my grandparents, and I was acting up, but there was also some home stuff that was going wrong. Anyway, so my dad was a lot of stuff. Anyway, so there's just so many girls. There was so many girls, and I'm trying to like be specific, but there's a girl in my after schools program. I talk to her every once in a while still now today. I didn't know there was anything between us. I thought that she was way too pretty for me to even slightly. She's a beautiful blonde girl. Now she's like a mother of 3, I think, or mother of 2. Had kids really early. Had her kids in high school. This is the type of girl that you had to. She looks just like Harley Quinn. Blonde hair, beautiful, for always been beautiful. Gorgeous girl, at least in my eyes. Arguably, whoever else's eyes, but I don't care. She's beautiful. And so that was the girl that I had like the most, and I'm not going to mention names here, do your research on me, and then you'll find it out. Then there was a girl in my who also ironically is from my neighborhood, that I didn't know that either until later on. And plus there was some weirdness about this 7th grade year, because I was coming back, that there were these girls that, they were like, oh, he left, he came back. And so like, even with the girl that I thought I really liked in elementary school, there was like, that seemed to be still a thing, but it was like, I thought I left that back then there in elementary school, and when I went to middle school there again, that wouldn't be a thing again, and it never was. So there was always a question of whether that would still be a thing from the kids that I grew up and went to elementary school with. They'd be like, oh, do you not still like this girl? And I'm like, not really. I mean, isn't really a thing. Anyway, so I really had this crush on this girl in my theater class. I think it was my theater class. And actually I don't remember. Maybe I'll have to ask her. In my theater class, and she was a little bit this is when I started to like a little bit thicker girls, like not like fat but thick, like got the big booty, big, well developed girl. You know what I mean? And for her age, she was well developed before, everyone else. And so, I was definitely crushing on her. And then I made a fool of myself. Like, I didn't make a real big fool of myself, but there's this kid that I always had some troubles with while I was playing football there at that middle school. Just being a dick, man. And he was always kind of a dick even into high school, and then I don't know what happened to him. Anyway, so he I said something like a little off color at the time. I said that I had these long pants, and I joked about them being capris, and then it was like, capris are for girls, and then I was like, oh shit. So that was something that hung over my head for quite some time while I was like you're a girl, or whatever, like some childish shit. And that shit like was the joke of the town. Every single time someone saw me, they called my pants capris. But now that everyone calls their goddamn pants capris, it's like it was like so foreign for men to wear capris. But now, like, all these, metrosexual dudes call their pants capris if they're long. So yeah, that ended that. I even tried to I tried to tell her I liked her, and it was outside of the middle school one day, and she just shot me down, like really, really shot me down. And you know what? I was a chubby little short kid. I still am a chubby little short kid. And so, I don't know. I didn't deserve her. And she ended up getting married. I think she's married now. I think she's had a kid. I'm not sure. Which is, oh my gosh. This town is a wild ride. But, oh shit. There's just so much. So in, back to elementary school, in my 5th grade year, I actually did have like a slight crush on a girl. Aside from the girl that I, crushed on for 5th grade, there was another girl that I crushed on in the after school program in elementary school, which I kind of crushed on when I was in 7th grade, and she was in 6th grade, I think, yeah, at that middle school. And so, like, I constantly was getting in these crushes, but I never got into a relationship until later in my 7th grade year. I dated two girls. I dated one girl, then I dated another girl, for, like, maybe you don't even call it dating. Like, it was so short, maybe less than a month and a half, 2 months, of these two girls back to back. They were both cheerleaders, and one cheerleader, it was like, I don't know what happened, but like I was kind of friends with the head quarterback, and we would joke around, make some jokes while we were in math class, pre-algebra, because we're smart. Joke around, talk about little cultural stuff, and see him every once in a while, and just joke around and stuff. And so I think it was a different kid. It was a kid that sat behind me, was like, giving me a hard time because I was always like chatting it up with this one girl. And wow, just brings up more memories. Chatting it up with this one girl in the math class, and then one day he's like, "Why don't you ask her out?" So he basically said I was a pussy if I didn't. And so I did. I asked her out. I said to her, "Hey, what's up? You want to date, or do you want to go out, or something like that?" I don't remember. And she was like, "Yeah," and then ran out of class. And but that was short-lived. I think I said straight up, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" And it was short-lived, and I think it lasted like a month, maybe even less than that, where there was kind of a conversation, but I don't even think we, like, the only times we hung out, maybe we're in the, like, she was my hall room girlfriend or something like that? Like locker room girlfriend? I don't. No. Locker room girlfriend. That is wild. She was like my locker area, like in the hall room, girlfriend. I'd see her there. I'd see her sometimes in the like the cafeteria, but I don't think I ever like had lunch with this girl or anything like that. I don't think I did. Then I think I broke up with her, and I think she broke up with me. Like I don't even know if it was. I don't even remember like exactly how that went. Then I started dating one of her friends, also a cheerleader, both of them cheerleaders, which sounds cool, but it's super whack. It's in middle school. So did that, then started dating this girl, and wow, this is weird. You know, my best friend in middle school, he was we were both in the same English class. I used to fall asleep in English like crazy. Like anytime we were reading a book or anything like that, I would just pass out, fall asleep. Anyway, I was always making fun of his girlfriend. She was a little thick girl, and always making fun of her for being like, you know, having a, you know, big juicy curvy booty, and yeah, I don't know, maybe this other girl, she you know, maybe it was like my confidence in messing with the other girls, but like I asked her out, and it was more of like I don't even think that we like held. I think maybe we held hands one time, maybe like kissed one time. I think maybe kissed one time. Maybe, I don't really remember, but anyway, so yeah, so I dated that girl, then I had to break that off because I was moving to Colorado. So I moved to Colorado in the second semester of my 7th grade year, and I spent the time there, and there were just at this school that I went to in Colorado is probably the lowest income of, you know, one of the lowest income brackets in the state of Colorado, and I wasn't, you know, poor by any means, but I wasn't wealthy, that's for sure. And there were some wealthy kids that, you know, went to school there. I don't no idea where they came from because the town is out there in Podunk, and but this town, it's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain this Fort Lupton town. But anyway, so I went to this school, and I was in like pretty much all of the smart kid classes immediately because like the classes here in Texas were just way more challenging than any of the courses there. And yeah, this story kind of bothers me, because it relates to the first time that I've ever experienced someone I know dying from like a pretty horrendous accident, and and I was really I do my best to kind of put this memory in my, in the back of my head and lock it up, but because I think this is the first time that I believe I made a mistake, and then as a result, kind of, a bad thing happened, unrelated, but I kind of feel like something had to do with it. But anyway, so I liked this girl. I don't even know why, but she was in my classes because I stayed there from the second semester of 7th grade to first semester of 8th grade there until I moved back with my parents, because they kind of transitioned from at that time my dad had picked up a gig as a drill sergeant in the Army. He got promoted. He was assigned this duty to be a drill sergeant in South Carolina. So I was in Colorado with my grandparents, and then I went there. But I like this little girl. Don't remember her name at all. I think I liked a couple different girls there. Don't really recall. It was such a short period of time, a year's time, and shout out to all those girls at Fort Lupton High School and middle school. Beautiful girls, Hispanic mostly, and a couple white girls or Caucasian girls. I don't remember any African American people even there, or even maybe there are more now, but it's really out there, podunk. Or Asian. I don't remember any Asians. I hardly remember growing up with any Asians in Texas, or I don't even know. Colors are a little bit weird here out here. But anyway, that's I'm assuming I say that, but then like Africa, how many times do you see anybody any different color? Asia or anything, India. Like how often do you see somebody that's not like you, or not like you, but is diverse from you, diversity. So these two girls, they just reminded me of I consider Texas home. They reminded me of back home, but they were definitely Colorado girls. Oh man, that reminds me. Actually, maybe it was three girls to be honest, that were in my grade. But the thing about it was, throughout my life when I was in grade school or whatever you call it, I was always a year younger than the grade I was in. So all the girls thought they were more mature, more I don't know, more something. They thought they were better than me, or like I was just a little kid or something like that because I was short and chubby or whatever. So I couldn't really finesse these girls into, liking me or, wanting to be romantic with me or anything like that. They thought it was gross. I don't know why. I mean, I think I'm pretty normal. I think I'm pretty Rico Suave. I think I don't know. I just, maybe I'm tall, dark, and handsome now, and that's changed, but I don't know. I have no idea. I don't get very much feedback. Plus, I think you don't want to boost my ego because I'll run with it. Anyway, so I get into, I got these two girls that I like, I'm attracted to. I think that's maybe what we should start moving into, is this word that starts to develop is attraction. And, we just weren't magnetic. There wasn't a lot of chemistry. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's it. I didn't even take chemistry and, I didn't even think that was chemistry. I think that was like biology, whatever. Didn't take that course until it was biology. I didn't take that course till I was in, the 8th grade year of, my first semester of 8th grade. We didn't even get to that yet. So we're in there. So I think it was so the end of my 7th grade year, I get into this relationship with this girl, and oh man, this is back to that story. So I get into this relationship with this girl, and she's, I don't know, I think she was just not, I feel bad because I really did like her. I really still do. I still like her. I don't know where in the world. I even forgot her name. I only remember the negative portions of this whole story. But she was beautiful, and but she was wild, and she thought at the age of, when she was in 7th grade, she was adamant she was a bisexual, and she liked girls and guys equally. I have no idea why she was even slightly into me. I, just I have no idea. But anyway, we got into a relationship, and we went. I think we went on one, maybe two dates, and it wasn't. We were texting, chatting on the phone, and that was when I started to really form a relationship. I mean, in the first semester of 7th grade, I had a couple different girls that I was chatting up on AOL Instant Messenger. Back in then, that was the thing. I had girls that would hang out with us at lunch break, and it was all right, I guess. I wonder why we never had a lunch break in high school. It was always right back to class. But anyway, so you could leave the school in middle school. You like, maybe people thought you were gonna abandon the high school because it was so depressing. But anyway, so yeah, I got into a relationship with this girl, and then I was gonna head back to Texas during the summer between my 7th grade year and my 8th grade year, and so I broke it off, and I wish I hadn't. I really, really, really wish I hadn't broken that off. It's really upsetting. I don't know where she is today, but if she ever hears this, definitely hit me up. I want to see where you're at, see what's going on in your life, and hear what you got going on. Then, so pass on next to 8th grade year, but attached to that, her best friend passed away from a very tragic car accident, and I was really close with her in 8th grade. And it was her real good friend, and it's tragic, and I really felt it. Like I have a place in my heart for that girl as well, and I hope that she's in heaven and whatnot, and it was tragic, and it's tragic that it had to happen to her. And I assume this other girl is just not right for the rest of her life. So moving forward in the 8th grade year, I don't really remember there being anything special in my 8th grade year. Like in the first semester, nothing that I can remember specifically. So then, in my 8th grade, 2nd semester, I moved to South Carolina, and I do one semester there at this school called Irmo, in Columbia, South Carolina. Well, really in a town called Irmo, and I've got a good friend. I've got good relationships being built there. I mean, people always thought I was the new kid and whatnot, but my neighbor was in the same grade as me. He was actually in a different technically group in this school, because this middle school was ginormous. I mean, huge. And there were 4 different classes. I was in the 3rd class of the 8th grade class, our 3rd section of the 8th grade class. And my gosh, man, it was wild though. And I played pity pat. I threw I was playing ultimate frisbee. It was a really, really fun school to go to, because it was like a high school in a middle school, and it was just like tons of people. I can't imagine what it was like to go to like the high school. It must have been so many kids. Plus, these kids drove like Bentleys and drove like Range Rovers and stuff to school. They were crazy kids. Not in middle school, but I knew the high school kids, and I had my friends that were really wealthy, and I had my friends that were really poor, like me at that time, very, very poor. Had some tragic things go on. But anyway, so I had this French class, and in the French class, I had these girls that I was really, really crushing on. Then, like, I had my math class and whatnot, but at this time, I was, being told things that have really scarred me for the rest of my life. I mean, my mother, like, I think I fell in love with this girl, and it was just because, like, my good friend in my French class, he was dating her best friend, and this girl I fell in love with. She told me she loved me, and I told her I loved her, and this was the first time I ever used those words in my entire life. And so we were about to go out, and we were about to go steady and whatnot, and my mom, overheard me say that to her, and I got in trouble for it. Like, I got into, like, she like, spanked my butt, and then told me I was stupid, and that you never tell a girl that you love her. And this is my dad too. My dad was like, you never tell a girl you love her. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so then clearly there's an issue with that, and maybe it was something going wrong in their romantic life. But because I hear motherfuckers be saying I love you all the time to get this pussy, or get somebody's pussy, or some shit, like, or get, like, mostly, wait, hold on now, that's pretty vulgar, but I mean, I just be honest though, dude. I hear guys say to girls all the time that they love them just to get, like, in their pants, and it works like a lot, and I hear, it didn't matter what your sexual orientation is, this word love gets thrown around all the time, and maybe that's what they were saying, and I get that, and I understand it, comprehend that, but these guys be throwing it around like it's water, and they be, they're getting girls off of this, it's not real true love. It's like a fake. It's not fake. It's 15. It's your 15 minutes of fame love. It's your it's not like true love. That's not what it is. But it's puppy love. It's so many different things. But I felt like this could have went the mile. You know what I mean? There are a couple times in my life where there were girls in my life that I felt like I'd tell them I loved them, and it would have went the mile, and I would have been a monogamous man for the rest of my life. I would have been monogamous, but every single time, family, friends, acquaintances would get in the way. That, or not their family, friends, and acquaintances, because by the time that I really loved them, there was no way that there was any sort of, there was always something that physically, not like emotionally, or like socially, or something like that, but something got in the way physically to hinder the advancement of that monogamous relationship. And maybe it's the rhetoric, because, like, I kind of always joke about pornography, or just polygamy. I joke about these multi relationship things where you're, you have a harem or something like that. I joke about it like, oh man, that's perfect. That's the perfect, reality, virginity, not virginity, these type of things, joke about those things, and talk about them as if they're like, if you don't have those things, you're not a god or something like that. You're not the Macho Man Randy Savage of the world or anything like that, or you're not the Dan Bilzerian, or you're not the Greg Lansky or the Tony Tutino or the Travis Bain. You don't have all of these girls, then you're not a man. You're not a true man. You're not a real man. You're not Thor. You're not the man. You know what I mean? You're not Aquaman. You're not Superman. You're not these things. These men who have, even Superman has one girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, it's monogamy all day. But there's also like a Darth Vader and all those type of characters, strong villains in the world. You know what I mean? They're not really full villains, like whatnot. Anyway, so this is when just things get just out of hand and awry. As this last semester in 8th grade, and maybe it's because everybody thinks that romance is supposed to start in high school, and high school is supposed to be this heartbreak session where things just go awry, and everybody's just smashing, dashing, and passion. Well, I already was ready for the lockdown, marriage, monogamy in middle school. By the time I got into high school, I was like, God damn it, man, where is this? But everybody's like, oh, we left that back then. Now that didn't happen for you because we stopped it from happening, physically stopping it from happening. So now you're in high school, everybody, lost their virginity. A majority of the girls lost their virginity in middle school, and if they didn't do it then boom, in freshman year, boom. You know what I mean? Now you're a virgin, you're going into high school, you're a male, you're a boy, and you have all these upperclassmen. You have yourself, you have your classmen that are in the same class as you, your classmates, and these classmates, 75% of them have already lost their virginity at the age of 15, 14, 13, and now you're a 14-year-old boy going into a man's game at high school, and because your parents decided that it was a smart idea to keep you a virgin throughout high school, when you goddamn know well all these Catholic, Protestants, Methodists, Baptists, all of them have been smashing in the church, getting in the back, behind the the dumpsters or inside of Sunday school, just smashing these girls out in the bathroom, everywhere everywhere that you weren't, they were doing it there. And I'm this little boy pent up with all this sexual energy, and I'm going into my freshman year of high school, and I don't really remember any of these kids from middle school or elementary school. Now we have four different middle schools funneling into one high school. I'm flying back from Colorado to go and start playing football at this high school on the B team, not even the A team. I'm on the B team, and I think because I'm playing backup quarterback because of my moderate size and my speed at this small little middle school in 8th grade in Colorado, that I come to a 5A high school and decide that I'm going to play quarterback at this school, when the kid, the African American kid, half African American, half Caucasian kid that I grew up with, that I know his family and I know everybody there, is going to start over me, and then they're going to put some whack ass Caucasian in place behind him. Then I'm stuck. Or even African American with more speed, more power in front of me, or Hispanic or whatever may be other than me, but they're definitely not going to put me because I don't have all the attributes to even, I didn't even think I got third string there. Instead, what they did was make a mistake and not put me in as a, some other form of the offense, because when I was in because the coach that I had in middle school seemed to be elderly and forget that what the heck was going on, and so I had a lot of power. I was a workhorse, that I didn't get put into a power position while I was in middle school. So then when I started developing into a greater position, I was fighting against the position that I was starting in my freshman year of football. So then when I'm not in a position that I was ready for in the package, then they put me into some crazy tight end position, and now I'm in a tight end position where I'm not the tallest or the fastest or the most I have the most sticky hands to catch a football. So then I'm playing on the line to block, even though I'm faster than 75% of the football team. And I'm even faster than and more physical than the not faster, slightly slower than the running back, but I'm physically bigger than that kid. And so I don't understand how I wasn't, the running back or the fullback in that position, because they just didn't have the arsenal right. They couldn't that year. So whenever I did that, I was in love with football. I wasn't in love with girls or anything like that. I was a power player, and when I had my opportunities, I did. And in my freshman year, I was on defense. Why was I on defense? Because I was hard hitter, and I hit some kids pretty dang hard, and put them in the hospital. I even put one into the care flight. Had to get care flighted out because I hit him so hard, knocked his noggin off. Like, that's the type of hitter I was, and yeah. And then it all kind of went downhill from there because I wasn't allowed to play offense. For some reason, I wasn't allowed to be on the offense. They wouldn't put me in as running back or even some sort of power tool. Like, it was just power position, some position to really take it and go at it. Maybe it was because I would have really ran it up, but I don't know. So I got removed basically my junior year. I think I got completely taken off of the football team because I was I wasn't playing by this bullshit social thing. It was all about the numbers. All about the numbers. It's always about the numbers. How fast are you? What do you show up to practice? How often do you do this? None of this. The booster club and this and that, and you know what I mean. So they took all these kids that had a lot. They took a whole lot of kids that had a lot of cash and put them in at power positions like receiver, cornerback, middle linebacker. They put those kids there, even though they didn't outperform other kids in those positions. So, when we come to the, and I think I think there still is today a lot of cash play in being thrown around as like, oh, this team in this division has to lose in order for this team over here, and there's cash being thrown around because either this kid that actually lives in this area over here is going to this school over here because he has more opportunity to start and shine. But then ultimately the arsenal of players, the attack players on the offense and the killers on the defense aren't in the power positions to take a team to be undefeated. And so there's just a lot of politics and social awkwardness that goes into I'm gonna say Division I football in the state of Texas, but to 5A 5A football in the state of Texas, there's just so much cash game that goes into it, and politics, that it's just so aggravating. So we get into this football, and I take the same sort of competitiveness of that, and I apply it to another thing called schooling. And I just, intellectually was not gonna be in the top 10% of school. I was top 11%, like literally on the cusp. But there's a cash game there too, and it was not my cash game. When we're talking about intellectualism, the cash game on that is so high because parents do not want their kids to fail and not be able to go to Harvard, Yale, go to these prestigious schools that these kids' parents went to. A&M, for God's sakes, Texas, Rice, whatever school that was. The parents put in cash to make sure that their students, they pay the teachers off to make sure that they get A's in their schooling. And if they in essentially what happens is that these teachers will go after school, tutoring, and pay cash, and they force these kids. And no wonder the sexual energy is no wonder the sexual energy is pent up with these high school kids, because they're locked away. Some of them even locked in cages, that we've seen in recent years, to where they're abused and beaten and busted down to the point at which they're like, Jesus Christ, whenever I get out, I'm gonna fuck any girl, fuck any guy, do anything I can to because there's the surveillance with the nanny cams and the everything over these kids, because they got to be guaranteed to go to Harvard, Yale, Rice, Ivy League. They got to go to these schools. Stanford, they've got to go to these schools in order to be respected in being a lawyer, being a doctor, being anything, because these people have to be passionate, loving, caring. The only thing that they're focused on is retribution and their accolades and the things that they are respected for. And then in an inadvertent case, they're given these eighth place trophies for being successful at school. But at the same time, I understand, because if you're not in the top 1%, top 10%, you don't get a certain cut from your tuition, because you're an in-state student or you're an out-of-state student. And if you were in this, or you have the best this or that, or the left or third, whatever it may be, and your parents have the opportunity to fudge the game or fudge the numbers, they're going to do their best to do that, and they're going to lock you away with such and such tutor, such and such teacher. No wonder these kids are, having kids with their tutors, their 30-year-old girls or 30-year-old teachers, because this 30-year-old is just so bent up and tight and still good, you know what I mean? And they're just locked in this bubble, and they can't get out because their surveillance is so high on what they do and they don't do. And they don't have any cash of their own. They don't have anything of their own, because their parents instilled to them that they are their children. They are their property, and to give them any money would be giving them opportunity to do something other than the script that their parents designed for them. That they would go and be on the rowing team at Harvard, or be successful in engineering at Colorado School of Mines, or go to wherever that may be and be successful, be elite, be at the top top 10% of that, and then after that, maybe potentially they could be the top 10% of the United States of America, because their income is so great, and because these parents are doing their best to turn this kid into a business, and this kid that's being turned into a business isn't socially prepared enough. If the parents lose or make a bad bet on an outside gig, and boom, 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 all of this, and then the house of cards comes crushing down. Mind you, that all happens at a small scale level in high school. And I experienced that, okay? So there are kids that are still locked in that system when they're an adult. That thing, that system that is constructed by whomever designed the system in which these kids are forced to be computational and confrontational with everyone. No wonder. And those kids never experience choice. They think they're making a choice, but their choices are limited by the opportunities that are given to them, not by the opportunities that are available. So reality is a very touchy subject, because you can only get to a certain aspect until there's not enough opportunity, especially in the high school that I went to, because I was at such a level that when I hit that glass ceiling in high school, and I wanted to do things such as back when I was at in South Carolina, where there was Southern gentlemen, you know what I mean? And the existence of Southern gentlemen in Texas, you have to be high class rancher. You can't be, a bourgeoisie salesman or a bourgeoisie, fisherman or craftsman, or those type of things don't exist at an upper echelon level in the state of Texas, because oil, ranchers, gas are the upper echelon of this area. So then they don't offer a lot of opportunities, and ironically how they don't offer enough engineering opportunities here in the state of Texas, because as soon as you hit the upper echelon of chemistry, biomed, or anything like that, you have to get the fuck out of state of Texas, because the education system isn't ready for you to be at that level, unless you want to be in the healthcare industry, because there's a lot of fat asses. Or you want to be a pilot. You can be a pilot, healthcare, or a lawyer. And that is the state of Texas. If you want to be anything else, an engineer, anything like that, you got to get the fuck out of Texas, essentially, because the best school for that, you have to go all the way up to fucking Texas Technical University, Texas Tech, in order to get a real engineering degree, because that's goddamn you're out of Texas by that point. You might as well be in another state. You might as well be in Mexico if you're going to Lubbock, for God's sakes. Dallas has no university, not at that level. Austin, Texas, UT is lawyers, healthcare, and education. That's about it. They don't have healthcare, barely. You know what I mean? The University of Texas is not at that level. They don't bring in the arsenal. They don't bring in the shooters, the gang, the gang motherfuckers. The guys that are super high upper echelon intelligence, the ones that can really push it, have the aggression, have the confrontation, can do it. They don't take them at the University of Texas. These guys that are there are based off of fucking social. Their social net wealth, their net wealth. It's based off of that. So you have these dumbasses who grew up with dumbass parents doing dumbass things that hit their glass ceiling in college, and all the money is lost. Boom! At Texas, That's why, number one, business school sucks. Everything sucks at the University of Texas, and they're not ready to move forward because they will not get these motherfuckers off of the anyway. Oh, my love for football and why it's such a great sport, and why we're not, winning bowl games, why we're not the greatest in the world, the University of Texas, why we're not, busting busting the balls of everyone, you know what I mean, is because it starts at the education. If we don't have athletes on the University of Texas Longhorn football team, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I mean, it's great that we have one, but we need all of them to be at the Stanford level of education and be able to analyze at a way greater level, because we're putting in dummies on that team. And I mean, we don't even have the budget, everything. It's so frustrating because I want to see my team win every year. I want to win the national championship every year. I want to make Alabama, all these places just weep at the fact that the University of Texas is running through. Aside from, my University of Hawaii laid back, like if these boys that are on the University of Texas should have went to University of Hawaii so that they could just, chill, you know what I mean, and relax and take it easy. It's you retire early because, you're dumb, whatever, because that's what I did. That's what I did. Why did I do that? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's so I could be a coach. Maybe it's so that I could empower people to do better. Maybe it's because of injuries. Maybe it's because of a lot of things, but I don't know. My reality seems to be way different than the reality that other folks observe of me. So I don't know. I have no idea. But that's outsiders looking in, and insiders know what it is. And those insiders, there's a lot of influence from the outside, and maybe that's why that this is driving me nuts. But so when we get to the facts of what I was talking about in high school, is that, and I started ranting off, and I just went fast into college like it was a blur. But it was a blur through high school. And a blur into college. In college, I didn't really have hardly any romantic relationships to speak of. Probably the reason why I'm not married and having 6 kids now is because I don't know any women that I would devote my time to at this time. It's just not who I am. And so now I'm in this public realm of, I'm out here playing social credits in the social credit game where, I see Instagram models and whatnot, and these girls are my potential. And, I don't know any of these girls I didn't really know these girls when I was in high school, let alone now, that weren't socially in this cliquey or whatever. But anyway, so in high school, I had a couple of romances that go back to the repeat of me getting in trouble again and making a poor decision again. When I was in high school, I made the decision to, give an expensive gift, set of sterling earrings with I think some maybe. No, I don't even think I had rhinestones in them. But anyway, had these earrings, and I gave them to this girl that I really, really did like. And that was horrendous. And I don't know how many times this girl literally ruined my emotional state throughout high school. So many times this girl ruined my emotional state, or at least my, she was
she scared me like so many times because I thought I was gonna get shot a lot. Like I thought I was gonna get a shotgun to the back of the head, to pop done. Because I felt like I was playing with fire, and I lost a lot of fire. I was playing with fire and I lost a lot of fire, and it's true, man. I was playing with fire, and I still got a whole lot of fire, but I'm way more conservative these days than liberal. Way more. I was very liberal in high school, and very liberal, carried that into college, but I got real conservative because I never found a liberal girl that would match my energy. They would just burn me to the ground. She one time would say she loved me, and I'd never say I love you back because hence back to that thing. And if I said it, it would be like, hey, you know what I mean, under my breath. Stupid fucking liberal girls. But anyway, so because that one moment when I got my ass beat for saying I loved a girl by my mom and my dad, then I never said I loved a girl ever again. And I still haven't said that until more recently. I said I loved a girl, but I got a heartbreak from that. And, I don't think that the level of the love that I gave these girls when I was in high school and when I was in middle school could ever have caused this situation that happened to me more recently. But it's crazy because in high school I love this girl. Everyone knew I love this girl. And then she chose, because I was like, I was out on my way out with the football thing, to basically make it to where everyone wanted to fight me. Everybody wanted to. It was just terrible. I couldn't handle it. It was just always. It was for me just like I couldn't text. I couldn't call. I couldn't do anything because my attention was on her, and I couldn't text her. I couldn't call her. It was just absolutely ridiculous. And I looked for I think, I don't know what happened, but she ended up giving the gift that I gave her, and I tried to be closer with her. But she would do things like, things that, anyway, so she ended up giving it to her friend, and then her friend thought it was from me, and it was not from me because she lied all the time, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. She was always lying and always being dishonest. So I ended up stop liking her. I just gave up. I gave up, and it would come back every once in a while. I think that was my freshman year. Maybe that was my junior year. I don't remember when I met her, but I know in my freshman year I liked this one girl, a little thicker girl, and I was always kind of close to her, sending her messages and whatnot. But she turned me off pretty quickly, and I still talk to her every once in a while. She's married now. Then, like, I don't know. It was always like the girl that I liked wanted to pawn me off on, or the girl that I was attracted to would always pawn me off on her friends, and I'd be like, I don't like your friend. Well, you got me twisted. Like, I don't like your friend. I like you. And why is it that now I gotta like your friend that I'm not attracted to at all? But I don't know. I don't know why I gotta be I don't know. it's why do you gotta be, why you gotta have to deal with that? No, 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 no. That's not for me. You know, I did date a girl my freshman year for a little bit, but it was not gonna work out. Because she just wasn't on the same page as me. It was just like I couldn't stay with that girl and become the person that I am today. She would have piggybacked, and I can't have someone that's not equally putting in the effort that I am for a relationship. That girl did like me a lot, and I liked her. She was cool, but I think I was taking advantage of the things that I think I was taking advantage of her, and of things that she provided to me, and that's why that didn't work out. And my family were not very nice about it. She was African American, and they were not very nice about it. Because as much racist or racial things that I slur off, I am not that person. I love people a lot. I have a lot of love in my heart for a lot of different type of people. I've been scorned a lot by a lot of different races: Asian, Caucasian, African American, Indian. I've been scorned by so many different, females, males, that I'm kind of a hater of every single color. It doesn't matter what color it is, who, they, what, I don't care. I just, kind of hate equally. And it's because there's been so many times in which either family, friends, or acquaintances physically or emotionally or socially got in the way of my happiness. It was always some sort of just, you have to be sad too. You have to be emotionally destroyed as well. And in order for that to, I'm going to make sure that I make this happen so that happens. And the girls that I was attracted to physically, maybe emotionally, we were just totally disconnected, intellectually totally disconnected. But I also wonder why they seem to infiltrate into my social circle. Why was I more inclined to hang out with my friends, because most of my friends were males, so I was always in some fraternal relationship in my friends category, that these girls were associated with those guys in some sort of fashion way, because I wasn't hanging out with the nerds, the jocks, or anything like that. I mean, these people were smart in certain ways and ignorant in others. It was kind of a balance. It wasn't like I was hanging out with these kids that were categorically determined that they were in this clique or that clique. It was nothing like that. I mean, I guess you would call what the kids that I hung out with in high school called hicks or rednecks. But then again, you had the baseball players, you had the athletes, you know what I mean, and whatnot. But hey, I'm not the person that I want to be now, and I was definitely not that person when I was in high school, because I didn't have a lot of money. I wasn't a rich kid. My family was not wealthy by any means, and they weren't able to support the lifestyle that I had desired. I would have loved to pull up in a Bugatti to my school and stunt on these motherfuckers, but hey, or even like a jacked up Silverado with 35-inch mud grips and 20-inch tires and being wheels and being like a thug on the Rockstar. You know what I mean? But that just wasn't the case. I never got to drive a monster truck. I had a little tiny pepper truck. You know, they called it a Red Ranger. Sound fucking stupid. But I got that, and then you know, my graduation present was this used Ford F-150 King Ranch, and it was nice, but I didn't have the lifestyle to match up with the truck that I was driving. And I just fucked it up when I went to college and messed up the money. Anyway, so the high school thing, because I keep on jumping off subject like ADD and shit, but I got ADD and I can't stick on subject. Finish things. So boom, I'm in high school and I'm, you know, dating very little. Just there's these side stories and things that are going on in high school. I'm in courses and I can never really form a relationship because I have these certain girls that are in my main, you know, my main clique that I hang out with that keep on just keeping on and keep on coming up. And they make themselves, and they just live off of this microwaved relationship, just microwave every 15 seconds. They got to be there, and they got to make sure that, you know, they got to make sure that that people think this, but actually this is happening, and just like, not my style whatsoever. I want a real relationship with real love, with real sex, with real everything being authentic, instead of, you know, there being this like, oh, they think that there's something going on over here, but at the other time she's banging, you know, so and so, but that was the reality, but other people think this, and I don't understand. It's like, I never won. I never won the game that was being played there. I never was even given an opportunity to play the game, because by the time I even tried to play, I'd have gotten shot in the back of the head. It's like I was always either getting stabbed in the back or shot in the head. And oh my gosh, I guess this relates to the games that are played. So I was playing Call of Duty a lot in high school, and I played a lot of and I shot a lot of guys in the head. I sniped a lot of guys. You know, I wasn't physical. I guess I was always looking to sit back and not get too physical with guys. You know what I mean? But from time to time, you'd have to get in a couple of scuffles with a guy in order to, you know, prove your manhood. I just don't see why this is the case. Why there can't be some, you know, I don't know. But it seemed like the people that I hung out with were hitters, killers. And you have to be careful in these situations, because I was a hitter and a killer, and I would cancel somebody real quick if they made a mistake, and as a result, I felt like a lot of people were making a lot of mistakes, but they were also getting a lot of, you know, they were getting a lot of wins. I wasn't making a whole lot of mistakes, but I was making mistakes and not getting a lot of wins. And in that case, is it better to run and die a lot, but get a lot of kills? Which I've tried, you know, a little of both. You know, playing, you got to play more hours too. So like, there was a lot of that, and you know, but I was also, you know, on the Madden, killing the Madden game, because I don't think everybody could get smoked. You know, get smoked when they were playing Madden. But when I got into college, it was a lot harder game to play. Not a lot of time to, you know, between classes and whatnot. So when you didn't get a lot of practice when you were playing, and plus some people play PlayStation, some people play Xbox, so you're kind of like speaking different languages. So it's hard to tell who was, speaking PlayStation, who was speaking Xbox. So, and then not let alone do we now have the Switch, which the Switch is killing it. So now you get Madden on the Switch and you smoke them on that because, it's not as like, it's just like, damn, man, now we got so much smoke in the game that you got to be good, and you got to be multi-versatile. You can't just be Apple, you got to be Android, PlayStation, Sony, you got to be all these things to be a multifaceted talent. And in order to do that, you got to like, and now I'm touching on so much because it's so important. And if you're a hustler, if you're a grinder, if you're that person, and not only if you're that guy, it's also that you got to add all that stuff up together if you don't have the financial backing from an outside entity, whether that's your family or friends, in order to get it done in a way that, if you don't have a network of acquaintances, friends, family that you can be playing, the Switch all day. You have a Switch, but you also, you split your time between the PlayStation and the Xbox. So you're a champion at all times, every time, all the time. You're a champion, top tier. You're not going to be able to play at that exponentially great competitive level, and be a competitor inside of an esports league. And this is the type of coaching that I believe that isn't out there, because we got a lot of Xbox boys, Xbox fanboys, a lot of PlayStation fanboys, a lot of Nintendo fanboys out there, and I'll buy it that a lot of the fighting games are on Sony and Nintendo, and then I'll buy it that the shooting games are mostly on PlayStation and Xbox, and the Xbox pretty much dominates the sports games. But like Jesus, like we gotta figure some way to get more diversity in this, because when I was growing up and in high school, the gamer girls were so, like, that's the niche right now, and clearly like the thing in high school, but it wasn't like it was when I was going to school. Like, these type of girls, Jesus, they wanted to like off themselves so quickly. They wanted to just, they didn't have the coaching, they didn't have it like the girls that were out there trying to be fashion models or social media people or whatever that there is now, where you can be a bit of both, kind of. You can be that girl that's good at games and sexy and model. All of that is there, but at the same time, like, this alternative culture for e-girls, which is a terrible title. I think it's disrespectful, but to some girls that's their thing. And those girls, they weren't popular when I was going to school, so they didn't have the opportunity. They were they were in the library studying, they were playing games on the side, and they either had brothers or whatever, but they had a dad or maybe an uncle or something that gave them opportunity to get to a level. But there is still a huge stigma towards girls in the gaming industry, so the opportunity to meet an e-girl was very little. And I had a couple e-girls when I was not e-girls, because it seems like e-girls seems like a fake girl, like somebody who's catfishing you, somebody. That's not it, but a girl that plays games, because now a girl that plays games isn't it's like it's so convoluted and whatnot, because there's these girls that now have found success in it, in that they were once this, now they're this, because they can finesse this really thing, but they're not actually good at games. They just play games, and so it looks kind of attractive. But the girls that were really good at games and could maybe potentially beat you at Madden, beat you at because they had put in the hours to play in that game, they're just not, I guess they're called tomboys, but there were also these girls that are tomboys, but not in the way it's, oh man, tomboy. That's just a weird thing because, Tom was the advent of MySpace. So these tomboys, there's no boys. Anyway, so it's just like you try to connect the dots, and it's like almost conspiracy theorist when we get into the social dynamics of archetypes and the stereotypes of different cliques and whatnot. But anyway, so I'm trying to describe the type of girls that I was interested in high school, and then advent into college, because somehow I missed the fucking boat on these girls, because I didn't even know. I've been told by my family that these girls that I didn't even recognize, like, because I thought maybe they were better than me, so then I had to treat them like they were worse than me, or I don't know. But anyway, so we get through that. High school, I have, a romance after her that so junior year kind of got involved with her. There were a couple different in-betweens, and then like little things like I liked a girl, maybe it would have transpired. The girl I took to homecoming, I liked her, but this goes back and it becomes the same kind of situation, but I kind of like treated her and said some things that weren't, that I don't know why, but like they didn't help me any, because she was like playing me and just for an experience, and used me and used my family, but she was just not intellectually. She scammed. She was a scammer. She's a scammer. She was, I don't know what she was thinking. Maybe she could think today and give me an idea, but then she had a lot of habits that were not, or behaviors that turned into habits, and she was beautiful. She's beautiful today, and I know I hate to call her a scammer because she's a scammer, but she's a scammer. She doesn't really do anything. Like, she's like my mom. My mom's a scammer. It's just scams. Like, but then they get caught in a lot of scams, because like I can feel for girls that get caught in the scams and why they're scammers, because like guys get scammed all the time by girls, and they get scammed by dudes too. I hardly ever get scammed by dudes though, unless I'm getting robbed. And if I get robbed, then I'm like, oh man, how can I convince this robber to, make a mistake, and then convince them to make a mistake, and then they get stuck, and then they kind of like have to they become my friend. The robber becomes my friend, and then I make the robber, make a mistake and make another mistake and make another mistake until they get locked up or something. And that's what happens. And so robbers, I hate robbers. I hate scammers. I hate anybody who's a thief in any way. So they're kind of an internal thing, because, as a man, you're always trying to steal a girl from another guy, because she is kind of attracted to God. She's attracted to God, and God, in a lot of the times, is her father. You know what I mean? To her. So like, you're trying to steal a girl from her father, and sometimes this becomes a real weird situation where like they're actually physically intimate, and you don't know that. I've been in that relationship. I've been there and heard those stories of how like her father molested her, but then anyway. Or her uncle molested her, whoever it may be. But like, so then you get these terrible stories about how that happens, and liar, not liar, or story fabricator or not. So then I end up getting, I get feelings for this girl, this other girl, this new girl, and she comes along later on because she's a junior, I think, a junior when I'm a senior. And yeah, she's a junior when I'm a senior, and I think that she's cute. We kissed like one time, but then she's like supposedly, having sex with my friends behind my back, and she's like bipolar and shit. And then like that, I feel like that her disease kind of got onto me. It like came off and got on me. Like it was contagious. I feel like bipolar is contagious. Because I was just like a kid that hung out in my room and played video games. I didn't really do anything other than that. And then when I did go out, it was to go find a girl, and like, this is the girl, and this girl didn't, I don't know. But I also felt like my video game participation and playing online and whatnot was my sanctuary. And so like, maybe I should have like included more girls in my sanctuary. Maybe that's what I should have done, but I didn't do that. And I still don't do that to today. And I think I need to kind of, that's what I think maybe the thing is that, but there's the saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So by this time I'm 25. I'm 25 years old. How am I supposed to educate a girl on how to be an elite gamer or even be a gamer, to be honest? And not a scammer. See, the difference is there's a big difference between a gamer and a scammer. A gamer plays games for the love of the game. A scammer plays games to get money off of people. You know what I mean? Like, scammers lose a lot too. That's true. I try not to be a scammer. And if someone thinks I'm scamming somebody, please let me know how I'm scamming somebody so I can correct that behavior in some way to make it so that whatever I'm providing is more is in a better format or is the language is in a better way for them to consume so that they can learn from it. So this relationship goes on into college, and it goes away my junior year. I flew back to see her graduate, but she wasn't ready to be committed to me, and she was committed to I don't know what, and I don't know. I don't know where she is today. Last time I told her, she said I was a weirdo, that she hated me, and that I never, whatever. And so I just basically decided that was it after that. And I haven't met a girl that I like felt any type of way. I mean, I had a little fling with a girl when I got back to so Texas State, when I was there, was very brief. I don't regret anything at Texas State. I love all you girls that I met at Texas State. I don't remember any of your names. I mean, I remember 2 or 3 of your guys' names. Everyone else other than that, I apologize for, leading you on or anything because I was being a dick or partying too hard or whatever. And if I had made it seem like there was something more than what it was, and then I left you guys to go to Hawaii to like relax and be a vegetable or something like that. Vegetate, be a vegetable because I vegetated. But anyway, so because I went there, and I ran into some girls there, but like those girls were those girls, and they're not. They were wealthy, super stupid wealthy, and yeah. Um, yeah, so I'm back in Texas, or back in Colorado. Met no girls while I was there. Um, and I never really reconnected with the people that I knew then. Anyway, back in Texas in 2015, met with this girl that basically finessed me. She didn't like scam me anyway, but finessed me out of something, out of my time, out of my energy, something that she took from me. I don't know what it is today, but she took something from me. Maybe it was my heart or maybe something else. But when I left Texas State and I moved to, I spent the summer in Colorado before I moved to Hawaii. She hit me up and she asked me if I wanted to hang out with her. And I did, but it was like I didn't know my buddy had left her and she wanted to hang out with me and a friend and one of her girlfriends and play pool. And so I guess her desire for whatever she wanted from me wasn't satisfied until I moved back here. So she was a girl that definitely knew what she wanted and she got it. And that's the type of girl that I fall in love with, someone who knows what they want, is vocal about what they want, and I'm physically and emotionally attracted toward. These three necessities are hard to come by because a lot of girls have no idea what they want, don't know how to communicate other than in emojis and weirdness, that when you get to the point at which they're just not emotionally attractive, let alone are they even slightly physically attractive. So those three things, she had those characteristics, and I thought it was going to go the distance, but just as soon as I had that thought, come to find out she's actually in a romantic relationship, about to get married, and that she's been engaged this whole time. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And so I said some terrible things, and I want to put it on record that I apologize for all the things I said, but I was just very, I was very upset. I was emotionally a wreck because I had no idea that this was what was going on. Her approach to ending our relationship, since I was a side motherfucker, that it was this, like, why, and then let alone this person be somebody I went to high school with, that I grew up with and feel terrible about. And I'm not airing anything out here, but I mean, I kind of am, for folks that, know anything about this thing that was going on. I feel horrible for, number one, me, but I feel horrible for the guy because maybe he didn't care. Maybe they're not in a monogamous relationship, but they did the whole traditional church route, and monogamy is the number one thing, and it's a huge sin if you are an adulterer. Maybe it's because before, I don't know. There's not many loopholes. Once you're engaged, it's the same as being married. It's just effectively not having had the ceremony. So it's kind of, it's suspect to me, but I don't know. That kind of destroyed me for quite some time, and I went down a terrible drug and alcohol binge for the past while. I mean, I hit rock bottom in December of 2018, and this month I have been cleaning up. my habits. I'm trying to get physically into fitness, and I'm trying to focus more on the things that I believe are going to build a life for me. And I've had a lot of experiences. I haven't been super successful financially, but I've been able to float myself through the drug and alcohol binge. And from when I started a freshman in college, and this is sobriety for about a month now. About a month now I've been sober. Since about the 5th of January. So my goal is to continue sobriety, do as best as I can to be in a social situation where I've never gotten in trouble for alcohol or drugs, because I'm not an addict to that level. But I did have a lot of negative things happen in my life as a result. Weirdly enough, I was in a sober state whenever this situation happened to me. I actually was sober. I was actually sober, and then I just wanted to drink, I guess. I had a desire to drink, so all of a sudden I got into this situation where, I threw a birthday party. I helped throw a birthday party for one of my best friends in high school, and as a result, a lot of weird things happened, and I was forced to, I lost my friendship, then I lost this girl, almost simultaneously, so it was pretty rough time. And so I've been on this roller coaster of drugs and alcohol for about 3 years, and I just kind of hit the rock bottom whenever I was going to the gentleman's club, getting super drunk, going to the bars, getting super drunk, and getting a lift, or having to sleep in my car in order to be, safe. I made some mistakes, and I've never gotten in a car accident because of driving drunk. Actually, I never really drove drunk. Never drove drunk above the consumption, whatever. But I've never drove under the influence of alcohol or anything like that. My blood alcohol level was always lower. But I do know that, ironically, that I think my fear of that was instilled in me because of the girl that I was with before. Was I don't want any trouble with the law over alcohol and drugs. So I always kept it, kosher, to the point at which I never really got high or drunk. And if I did, there was always somebody, or there was always a plan as a result, because I had an incident in Colorado where I didn't have a plan. And because of that incident, I had a physical altercation with someone, and I never want to do that again. I never want to go back to that life again, to where I don't have a plan. I don't have a goal and a plan as to there are a lot of, we live in a society where 75% of people don't have a goal and a plan and no direction. So you can kind of associate yourself with this, because the cake, there's 25% cake and 75% icing. You know what I mean? People love to eat the icing and not the cake. So my goal is to, in my cake, make it, 1% icing and and a majority cake, the cake is good. It's sweet, very sweet cake. But the icing is just a layer to just satisfy aesthetics. It's not, if you eat a cake, it should taste like 75% icing and 25% cake. You know what I mean? That's the type of cake that you should be eating if you're that type of person, the type of person that desires this microwave society. For me, I like a well-crafted, I like food in that it's well prepared. I've had to, because of finance, deal with more of the alternative. Though you can make smart choices in life, and I've been working on this to lower the financial cost of well-prepared food. So you have to be very adamant on what you're going to go do. And that's very difficult. Hey, what's up, guy? I'm sorry I missed that that shout out. What's up? And in order to really get yourself a good place within your nutrition and your fitness, you have to cut out drugs and alcohol. You got to cut out fatty foods and acids and whatnot like that. Can't really add that into your stuff. So then you got I'm cutting that out, and these are all like kind of New Year's resolutions as of 2019. So then now I'm focused on getting to the point at which I'm feeling like I'm doing the right thing, and that I can help other people do things as well. Maybe not the right thing or whatever, but do things, because I haven't been feeling like I can really help people do things. I've been helping people, but like go past that point at which I'm 50% icing and 50% cake to where I'm 75% cake and 25% icing. So, and I don't feel like I'm there. I got a whole lot of icing, a lot of fat, and I'm chubby still. I'm not fit. I'm not like, but at that point in time, it's like perspective, a matter of perspective, because some people will say that this Instagram, finessed, photoshopped 6-pack ab is icing for a lot of people, and that those people actually desire the lifestyle of someone who's more thicker or whatever, because maybe, I don't know, it's a weird world we live in. A weird world we live in. It's a real world we live in. It's a tongue twister too. But anyway, so all of that being said, I'm about to get into this the other portion of this the other half of this podcast, where I want to incorporate a little bit of the chat if I can, because I want to talk about the relationships and romances that we kind of like we emulate in our own lives, because essentially what happens is, we look at celebrities, politicians, intellectuals, our family, and we kind of do our best to emulate those relationships and try and find something that's going to work for us. You got Jay and Beyonce. Beyonce from Texas, Jay from New York. That's a match made in heaven as far as like the United States is concerned. How often do you see a woman, from the South at the public level, romantically involved with a man from the hustle and bustle of New York? I mean, Houston is what it is, but nothing's like New York. New York's fast paced, and you know what? He's got the story of being a drug dealer turned billionaire, and you have a girl who is a beauty pageant, African American, works, female, all of these things, and then to have that happen, is amazing. Then you have Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, both high level political figures. You got George Bush and Laura Bush. You got Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump, but that's another weird match made in heaven. You got the girl, who could have went down the road of being a prostitute, being a sex slave in Eastern Europe, which arguably, then marrying the wealthy man, bourgeoisie, sales, hospitality of New York. It's kind of like it's not. It's similar to the story of Jay and Beyonce. You know what I mean? You got the Jay and Beyonce story, which is from the ground up. You know what I mean? And then you have the upper echelon of story. Well, you have the Caucasian story of it. You have the African American story of it. If you go and you start talking about like the Asians, who if in the comments on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook from this podcast, or even if you're in the Twitch chat, comment if you know a famous Asian, a famous or popular Asian monogamous relationship, or maybe not monogamous, whatever, but some sort of relationship that's Asian and really doing well. Then you don't really have an Indian or anything like that, or Indian from India relationship that I can think of. Then you have like Sergey Brin, you have all the technocrats, but when you get into the families, you got Dan Bilzerian, who's got a polyamorous, arguably, relationship, is willing to pay for hookers and prostitutes and strippers and whatnot, and lives that extravagant lifestyle that most men will never have the financial ability to live, but you can look at it and say, that's a lifestyle I'd like to live. You have Greg Lansky, you have Tony Tutini, you have all these gentlemen who are out there, entrepreneurs in their own right, getting girls and playing the field, and it reflects in so many ways. I think that girls are not intended, women are not intended to be materialized or is that the right word for it? Or womanized, or associated to materials, but people, there's generally an archetype for all for women, from the way that they are, the way that they look at society, the way that the gentlemen do. Men look for a role model, women look for a role model, and there's not a lot of strong female role models out there. A lot of women see Kim Kardashian as a role model, and Jesus Christ, man, she has been up and down. You know what I mean? Had her ups and had her downs. Maybe more or less these other kids have grown up with Khloe or Kylie Jenner, and maybe that's a better role model. But Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? Those are ups and downs. There's not a lot of strong ups, you know what I mean? 75% up, 25% down, it's kind of a thing. Like in the media, even Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton situation, philanderers, outright philanderers. It's just, I wish there was more conversation about this in the public domain about the who's who of who and what their relationships are like, because when we hear something about a relationship and the way that we should be modeling our relationships after, most of it's just negative. It's just not, there's no positivity involved in the way that people perceive relationships, because even the most successful, let's say Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, for instance, you just don't know what kind of things are happening behind closed doors, or if it comes to find out that Obama has been, unfaithful or hasn't been true to Michelle, it's like, it sucks because you even have to discuss that. You even have to say that that's a possibility because nobody knows. It's not public enough for people to role model their relationship out after. And then, these people who are super public with their relationships are super, open about the fact that their relationship are open relationships. For instance, like Aubrey Marcus, the founder and creator of On It, he is pretty much very open that he's in an open relationship with his significant other, and his significant other has relationships with other people as well. And I don't know exactly what the dynamics of that is. I've never experienced it, let alone I've explained in this first half of this podcast, I explained how my relationships are, how they have developed, and how I'm just basically uncertain if there's even an opportunity to meet somebody new that's not, that has even slightly like-minded to me. And I play the people who are in the dating game these days, when they either go to places that have a lot of people, and how often is it that you go to an event and it's mostly guys? There's very little girls to interact with, and if it is a lot of girls, they're paid to be there. You know what I mean? Somehow they're there for business reasons. And then you have a situation where you're on Tinder, you're online dating, or it's online dating basically, because you're funneling through all these girls or all these guys or whatever it is that you're interested in, and you're doing your due diligence to try and filter these girls. But that's, you can't expect the app to be on your side when you're going through this to even give you enough exposure, and this goes into the whole thing of being a public figure on a platform like Twitch, that I'm currently live streaming on twitch.tv/Trent Knox, that you can build something from this and have people, feel some sort of way or have some sort of commentary with you. Right now I'm streaming to 0 people, 0 viewers. And the reason why is because I'm trying to practice. Practice makes perfect, right? And when you do have the the viewership of a large number, because you're consistent and you're on the platform providing quality content or something that is valuable, and you'll never know when that will be in many cases. So let's say equate that to the dating game, because in many ways you're trying to find viewership and friends on this website to basically provide to interact with you digitally, and then eventually that relationship develops into something. You may meet them at a meet and greet or something like that, and maybe they become your best friend, or maybe they get too close, and you have to communicate with them in a way to let them know that this sort of interaction is uncomfortable to me, and in order for this to be not as uncomfortable, not to run to somebody like security or something like that. But it's difficult because in many cases when you lose, when something's not going your way, you look to run to something that is gonna, and I've ran back to where I thought that was gonna be safe, and it turns out that it's not safe. It's just as dangerous as the place that I was before. You know what I mean? And I've been stuck in this situation off and on, again and again. Going to live with my parents, going to live with family, going to live with friends, going to live on my own, going to this, going to that, and never found solace. That's hilarious. Never finding my peace or my happiness in either of those places, to be honest. Like, it's been dangerous in both, either breaking an arm or, losing a relationship, potential of being threatened, being robbed or whatever, scammed, whatever. But anyway, so, this is the third portion of this podcast, really. It's talking about how basically we are all, it's how the mechanisms for us to find romance and how we reflect on the romances that are public in the public hemisphere. And I don't necessarily know what can be done, whether it's, like, I don't even know what it would be like to leave the United States, expat, and, search for the woman of my foreign dreams. You know what I mean? Like, what is it like for a Donald Trump to find his love? It's so his passionate love from a foreign land, and same thing from Jay-Z. It's not like Jay-Z grew up in Texas and fell romantically in love with this woman in Texas, and they were both from Houston. He was from New York, and like she was her in her own right, building her own brand. You know what I mean? It's so crazy because when you think of an actor or something like that, when we start thinking of a Caucasian version, or we start thinking of an Asian version of the story, or some sort of Romeo and Juliet of another race. You can't really name another compelling couple with their ups and downs like Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's crazy. There's just not an opportunity. I mean, we now have Quavo and Cardi B, but it's or is it Offset? Offset and Cardi B? Offset and Cardi B. Sorry. For all you people who are following that, my mistake. Pardon me. You're gonna have all these other actors and hip hopper artists, hip hoppers. I guess I'm white. I'm white too. I'm also black. I'm also black, and I'm also white, and I'm also Native American, and I'm also Asian, and I'm also somewhat Indonesian, and a little bit of a lot of things. Anyway, mixed two more races. When it comes down to like the Caucasian version of this, and outside of the music industry, and we start getting into technology, have you ever heard of a doctor or an education, someone in education that you don't really hear these? They're not public, relationships. These individuals, it's hard to, like, if you're a doctor and you're trying to, figure out how to be something and have a romantic relationship, like, where do you find that? Do you find that in a musician? Where do you find that? You find that in a coworker? Because if you do that, what happens? Like, you get into this relationship and then it doesn't work out, and then you have to start all over again. I mean, I guess you got some experience on your belt a little bit, but God, it sucks. It sucks. There's so much risk in today's dating world, and unless you're like paying for sex or something like that, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that it'll be okay. There's no guarantee that it'll be okay and that you'll live a happy life for the rest of it. And I think that's pretty much my view, my perspective on relationships and romantic relationships, to be specific, in today's day and age. And I think a lot about this stuff, and I'm over here on Tinder, Tinder, Bumble. I'm going out to events and whatnot. But I'm not a dancer. I'm not the funniest guy. I feel like I know how to do some handyman stuff. I can entertain by talking. I feel like at times people will be, judgmental or just not good people, and that's tough to deal with. I feel like in a world that we live in today, where we just need to be able to get some sort of understanding that, or some sort of structure to this world we live in, because it's just so chaotic. It's so chaotic, less order than in chaos. And shout out to Common Chaos Podcast with Brian Kern that I helped establish some of the initial episodes. I was the first one on that episode podcast. That's a good way to put it. Is like there's chaos and there's order, and there's more chaos than there is order. It seems it's not balanced, no yin and yang at this time. Like at least in the United States of America, it's all over the place. But anyway, spending a lot of time on Tinder, I feel like it's hard to figure out the algorithm. But there are, if you're out there and you understand how the algorithm works on Tinder and how to get placed first in the swiping, be one of the first people to be shown, because you understand the algorithm and the code behind the app, hit me up and let me know in my DMs on Twitter. It's twitter.com/TrentKnox, and let me know how I can improve my Tinder games and how I can meet more girls and be more have more opportunities to form relationships. Also, if you know how to do Bumble as well, or even like in general, like any type of visibility or discoverability, whether that's social media or whatnot, and some tip or trick to get into the game a little bit more, let me know, and I will definitely appreciate that help. Because the social media game is crazy, and it's hard to understand how to be on the next tip and trick of things. And I think that I get a lot of I don't get a lot of the industry alerts that let you know about certain things. Like if it's popularity wise, I don't get it. I don't get the alert. I think maybe I'm just overthinking that, and maybe I get the alert, but I'm not, aware of it. But anyway, so this is pretty much it. I'm rounding out this podcast as it pertains to the relationships thing. I think I don't have very much more to say. I'm not that educated on the public relationships. I mean, I talked about Jeff Bezos and the situation over there, Elon Musk, of course, and his relationship on the last episode. But I just definitely wanted to just get this out there and talk about relationships on this one. Maybe I can move forward with some of the relationships, because I got these, relationships on my mind and my heart, these past relationships, and maybe somebody out there can help me, find, a counselor or something that specifically works on this type of thing, and get some counsel on this, because I don't necessarily know who to go get help from in a lot of things. And I think that if you're dealing with some sort of battle out there, intellectually or emotionally, you should go seek some counseling. But you need to be educated on who is the top 10 in the area as it pertains to this. And there should be some sort of ranking system as to, average customer review as it relates to that. Maybe WebMD could do this or something. I'm not trying to drop any Skittles out there, but let alone there be some sort of, some sort of system to do that, because there is systems out there, but they're not made right. They're not designed correctly. And then you have to bank on the fact that particular person accepts your type of insurance, or if they accept insurance at all. Anyway, so this is the Trent Knox Show, Season 3, Episode 7, Relationships. This is going to be like a new categorization of how I do my episodes, because maybe we'll have some, we'll have a specific topic, and then I'll seek out a professional in that category and have them on the podcast to discuss something, and then I can, some way that I can elevate this podcast to have some sort of titling, who, what, when, where, and why kind of thing. And so I appreciate you guys for tuning in on the Twitch at the twitch.tv/Trent Knox. Thank you guys for following me on Instagram at instagram.com from now on I'm going to do it different. Instagram at Real Trent Knox, or Instagram at Trent Knox TV, Twitter at Trent Knox. LinkedIn, if you check me out on LinkedIn, you can just search me. I'm probably the top one on there, most likely at this time. Is going to be LinkedIn and Trent Knox. I don't know how to give you the URL for it, but it's just Trent Knox. Just go over there and check it out. You'll find me for sure. If you know what I look like, you'll find it. And then I have my Facebook, which is, you got to tell the URL for that. So facebook.com/Trent Knox TV. That's me. You'll find me there. Again, anchor.fm/Trent Knox for all your podcast listening needs. And if you are a person who is looking to start a podcast, or want to learn about how podcasts are developed, that's the best place to go. Anchor.fm/Trent Knox. And you'll find that they're the best platform out there for distribution. They go to all the major distribution digital streaming platforms. And if you have an RSS feed, it's easily to start it up and go. I'd highly recommend hosting your podcast on their platform. It's free of charge, no issue. They have great features. They can help you with sponsorship dollars and subscription, little subscription costs. If you go to anchor.fm/Trent Knox, you'll see that there's a little listener support tab, and you click that listener support link, you'll see that you can do as little as $1 a month, or 99 cents a month, and you can really help this podcast grow to a better levels, or more production value. And with that being said, I do my Postmates delivery, and I could really use the help if you are if you're interested in earning, for getting yourself a full-time gig, a part-time gig, or just earning a little cash on the side, and you live in a market where Postmates delivers. Head on over to my facebook.com/Trent Knox TV. Pinned at the top is my user code. And if you deliver 55 deliveries in 30 days, you'll get $600 guaranteed. And there's a little bit of a bonus as well. You can also go over to my Depop page. That's depop.com/Trent Knox Vintage. And you can see my store. I'm going to be starting doing a little store there. I think I'll probably sell my t-shirts too for Trent Knox Show on that website. I like it a lot for selling t-shirts and stuff like that as well. I think that that's pretty much it. If you're interested in anything in particular, just get at me, and I'll try and help you, whether that's Bitcoin, esports, college, anything. I highly recommend searching out some sort of thing. I'm interested in drop shipping or something like that. If you're out there and you have some skill set and you want to DM me and talk about your skill set, I can bring you on as a guest, and we can get that conversation rolling. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in on twitch.tv/Trent Knox. And if you're coming here from Twitter, Instagram, whatever, leave a comment in the section below and let me know that you heard this. Hit it with a like or a retweet or share it on Facebook. Ask your friends and family to listen to it. If you tell 15 friends, they'll tell 15 friends, and they'll tell 15 friends. And you know what? This podcast will be a big community. And then I can start out the Discord. I can make it a little bit bigger of a thing and do maybe some shows on Twitch and really get it popping. You know, Austin Live and Local is a passion of mine, and you know, supporting local artists is something important to me. And events and artist brands and events in the Austin area, but it's become kind of a financial burden, financial burden toward me, and I think I need to focus more on myself and the brand that this personal brand I'm building rather than the business brands, whether that's the media company or the news company. But I really appreciate you guys for tuning in, like I said, and I'll catch you guys on the next episode, which should be tomorrow. So if you're able to tune in on Twitch, I'll usually tweet out that I'm going live. I should really be more. I should really do that more because I gave about like 5-10 minutes this time. Be more forward thinking or promoting it prior so that people can get on and chat with me. Anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.